Before the arrival of Europeans, the land that is now the United States was a tapestry woven from the threads of hundreds of distinct Native American cultures. These were not simply bands of nomads, as some early histories mistakenly portrayed. They were sophisticated societies with their own languages, governments, religions, and traditions. For thousands of years, they thrived in delicate balance with the natural world, respecting the land as a source of life and a sacred trust. From the eastern woodlands to the Great Plains, from the deserts of the Southwest to the Pacific Northwest, these First Nations flourished, leaving their mark on the very landscape itself. Their stories were passed down through generations, not in books, but in intricate dances, in the rhythmic beat of drums, in the vibrant colors of sand paintings, and in the whispers of the wind through the trees. Their history was alive in the memories of their elders, in the songs of their children, in the very air they breathed. To understand the story of Native Americans is to understand a story of deep connection, not only to the land, but to a spiritual heritage that sustained them for centuries. Long before the first European explorers set foot on North American soil, great cities rose and fell, testaments to the ingenuity and organizational skills of the continent's indigenous people. Near the banks of the Mississippi River, the city of Cahokia bustled with life. Home to the Mississippian culture, Cahokia boasted a population larger than London at the time. Its massive earthen mounds, some towering over 100 feet high, served as platforms for temples and the homes of the elite. These structures stand today as silent sentinels, whispering tales of a lost civilization that thrived on agriculture, trade, and complex social structures. Far to the west, in the arid landscapes of the Colorado Plateau, the ancestral Puebloans, also known as the Anasazi, carved their homes into the sheer cliff faces. Mesa Verde, Chaco Canyon, Canyon de Chelly, these names evoke images of architectural marvels, of intricate dwellings nestled high within sandstone cliffs, accessible only by precarious ladders and hand-hewn steps. These were a people who learned to thrive in a harsh and unforgiving environment, their lives intricately intertwined with the cycles of sun, rain, and the land itself. Their pottery, decorated with geometric patterns and stylized animal figures, tells stories of their beliefs, their hopes, and their dreams. The arrival of Europeans in the late 15th century marked a turning point in the history of Native Americans, forever altering the course of their destiny. What began as tentative encounters, fueled by curiosity and the allure of trade, soon descended into a clash of cultures, a collision of worldviews that would have devastating consequences for the indigenous inhabitants of the Americas. The newcomers, driven by a thirst for land and resources, brought with them more than just their ambitions. Unwittingly, they carried invisible enemies, diseases like smallpox, measles, and influenza, to which Native Americans had no immunity. These diseases ripped through villages and across the continent, decimating populations and leaving behind a trail of death and despair. Entire tribes were wiped out, their cultures and languages extinguished before they could be recorded. The land, once teeming with life and echoing with the sounds of ancient rituals, grew silent, the silence broken only by the cries of mourning. The balance that had existed for millennia between humans and nature was shattered, replaced by a struggle for survival against forces beyond their control. Section 4, Uprooted and Displaced, Trails of Tears Across a Nation. As European colonies expanded, the pressure on Native American lands intensified. Treaties, often signed under duress or through deception, were routinely broken. The ancestral homelands, the hunting grounds where generations had lived and died, were deemed obstacles to the relentless march of progress. What followed was a tragic and shameful chapter in American history, the forced removal of Native Americans from their ancestral lands. The Trail of Tears, a term that has come to symbolize the suffering and resilience of a people, stands as a stark reminder of this brutal policy. In the 1830s, under the Indian Removal Act, Thousands of Cherokee, Creek, Choctaw, Chickasaw, and Seminole people were forcibly driven from their homes in the southeast and marched westward to designated Indian Territory, much of it in present-day Oklahoma. The journey, spanning hundreds of miles, was fraught with hardship, disease, and death. Families were torn apart, their belongings confiscated, their way of life irrevocably altered. The Trail of Tears became a symbol of broken promises, of the government's betrayal of its trust, and the enduring strength of Native Americans in the face of unimaginable adversity. Section 5. A Time of Reckoning. The Fight for Recognition and Rights. The 20th century brought new challenges and opportunities for Native Americans. Government policies shifted towards assimilation, seeking to integrate Native people into mainstream American society, often at the expense of their cultural identities. Boarding schools were established with the stated goal of civilizing Native children, stripping them of their languages, traditions, and spiritual beliefs. The impact of these policies aimed at erasing their cultural heritage is still felt today. Yet, amidst the assimilation efforts, a spirit of resistance flickered. The Red Power movement emerged in the 1960s and 1970s, inspired by the Civil Rights Movement, demanding self-determination and the recognition of treaty rights. From the occupation of Alcatraz Island to the standoff at Wounded Knee, Native activists brought their grievances to the forefront of American consciousness, challenging the nation to confront its history of injustice and broken promises. Section 6. Modern Native Voices, Resilience and Resurgence. Today, Native Americans stand at a crossroads, facing ongoing challenges but also embracing opportunities for cultural revitalization and self-governance. Poverty, lack of access to healthcare and education, and the struggle to protect sacred lands and resources continue to plague many Native communities. Yet despite these obstacles, the spirit of resilience that has sustained them for centuries remains strong. Across the country, Native Americans are reclaiming their languages, revitalizing their traditions, and asserting their sovereignty. They are sharing their stories through art, music, literature, and film, ensuring that their voices are heard. From the fashion runways of New York to the halls of Congress, Native Americans are making their presence felt, challenging stereotypes and contributing to the rich tapestry of American society. Theirs is a story of survival, of resilience, and of the enduring power of the human spirit to overcome adversity. Section 7. A Legacy Enduring the Native American Spirit Today. The story of Native Americans is an integral part of the American narrative, a story that continues to unfold today. It is a story of tragedy and resilience, of loss and renewal, of the enduring strength of a people who have faced unimaginable challenges and emerged from the crucible of history with their spirits unbroken. Their story is a reminder that the land we call America has a rich and complex past, one that extends far beyond the arrival of Europeans. It is a story that challenges us to confront the darker chapters of our history, to acknowledge the injustices of the past, and to work towards a more just and equitable future for all. As we listen to the voices of Native Americans today, we hear echoes of their ancestors, whispering tales of resilience, reminding us that their story is not just a chapter in a history book, but a living legacy that continues to shape the present and the future of this nation.